Apple versus Epic, I categorize as tech on tech violence. Epic decided against the contract they had entered into with the Apple App Store that they were going to offer their own in-app payment system and cut out Apple's fee. And because they broke the rules, they got kicked out of the playground, and they decided to run to the playground supervisor instead and file a lawsuit and say, this is unfair that they're asking us to do this, even though we agreed to do this in return for the enormous amount of distribution and other benefits to consumers. And then recently, the courts weighed in and said, yeah, well, you broke the rules and they're allowed to do that. And there was a little caveat to that that had to do with the California state consumer law that's not totally relevant here and was sort of more in line with concessions that Apple was already starting to make. But the point is that, you know, if you want to play in the App Store garden, you have to play by their rules. And I hate to be boring about it, but this is my job to be boring. This is, you know, for us, the CEI, this is a property rights issue. And this is Apple's App Store. And if you don't like it, as Eric has pointed out, there are many other places to go sell your wares. But these are the terms and conditions that Apple sets, and they come with costs for developers, I'm sure on some level, but as Graham points out, they come with a lot of benefits. And for consumers, they certainly come with benefits. And consumers also have a choice about what phones they use, so what app stores they're apt to use. And this is sort of like, you know, more of a freedom of association in terms of business contracts issue than it is some big antitrust smoking gun. But again, in the backdrop of a real resurgence of interest about antitrust and a lot of anger at these tech companies about other things, I think these issues kind of get mixed together and jumbled up. I think that part of Epic's goal, which they've been really successful about, is getting a lot of publicity and cashing in on a lot of the anger some people have towards these tech companies. I think it's a great PR campaign, you know, because the day they filed the lawsuit, they were ready with a really snazzy, but very inside baseball, nerd reference kind of PR campaign and video that day. And I think that part of it is them still sort of playing in the marketplace a little bit. I'll give them credit for that. They've gotten a lot of publicity on this, but what they want is to be able to offer an alternative in-app payment system and not go through the Apple payment. And they also want things surrounding that, right? The ability to contact their customers, which they might get a little bit of from the California ruling. But, you know, just in the last 24 hours, Epic's founder and CEO has been complaining that even though Apple said if they just wanted to come back and play by the rules, that they would be able to, and now Apple's saying, actually, about that time you sued us, we're not going to let you back in until all of this legal stuff is resolved. And again, you know, I don't think that's unreasonable because, you know, Epic kind of wants it both ways, right? They want to be able to still benefit from the App Store distribution and the trust that the App Store has established with consumers, but they kind of want to pick and choose when they want to play by those rules of that App Store. And then, you know, I think that it's probably a little offensive to be sued, I would imagine. And I'm not sure that Apple's really that anxious to get back in bed with Epic after all of this. Now, the opportunity to continue to make money off of them might take over eventually, and I'm all for that. I'm a good capitalist. But I think that, you know, they want a lot of the upside of the App Store system, and they don't want to play by the rules. And I think if you look at it like that, I don't think it's that difficult for people to understand, you know, what really is at the crux of this, right? There's real benefits to that App Store, and you chip away at those if you start to pick away at the privacy and the convenience and all those things that the rules kind of set up.